Here with Jake Schmidt, senior safety, number 17, from Frederick, Wisconsin. Jake, just to start off, what drew you to BSU, or who drew you to BSU?
Well, I wasn't too sure if I wanted to play football going out of high school, but just after my senior season, got to be one of the things that I just kind of want to pursue more. So my coach got in contact. He used to be a coach in Minnesota at Zambroda, so he knew Coach Tesh pretty well. I had a lot of players go to him, so got in contact with BSU. They came down and saw me. Was in contact with a lot of schools in Wisconsin as well, but I don't know, I kind of came up here, and compared to my school, this is like a big, kind of like a city feel, but everyone was, still small town nice, and that kind of drew me up here as well. And they had a good program. Just got back from the Minot Bowl when I was getting out of high school, so I knew they had a good program, good dedicated people, and I don't know, just a nice environment all around.
Like we kind of talked about, you're from Frederick, Wisconsin, not necessarily close to home. You decided to come in just as a BSU, a letter of admission signee. You kind of touched on it, but kind of talk about the final decision to make the move. Did you know anybody here, and just that process?
I just kind of wanted to see where it would take me. I was going like 4.5 hours away from home. I didn't know anyone here. The only other person from around my area was about 45 minutes away, and she played softball for a little while, but I really didn't know her that well, but that was the only person I knew coming up. So it was just a chance for me to get out, start a whole new life, kind of make a name for myself with no help. Nobody helped me through, just kind of making my own friends and taking me where I needed to go. It was a different experience, but I won't change it for anything.
So you get on campus, you're a freshman, redshirt your first year. As your career progressed, you got a little more playing time. Now you're captain for your senior season. Kind of talk about the process of yourself and your career going through the years at BSU.
Well, when I came in as a safety, but my freshman class had about, I think, 7 safeties in it. So they were real deep in safety and not a lot of corners. So Coach kind of said at one of the beginning meetings, if anybody wants to, go ahead and try to do a little corner, might get a little more playing time, a little more field experience. So I told him I was willing to, make the switch and try to help the team out because we needed guys to run in that position. So I moved over to corner for my first redshirt year and did that for a little while. Still learning the defense, but it kind of helped so I could take it a little more slower than the safeties did. So they make all the calls and whatnot. But so I got to play a little corner, got to see what the game was like from their side, and then I moved over to safety later on. After my redshirt year, I got back and started playing on a lot of special teams, just trying to do what I could to get on the field and help the team out any way I could. So we had some pretty good, solid D-backs my 4 years here. So just wanted to get on the field and do what I could to help out and run around and make some plays and have some fun. And then after a little while, I got to be kind of a contender for one of the safeties, and Dusty Suzwitz from Chicago was back, and Jason Coons was in, and Brody Scheff. And so I was up running with those guys, taking some reps with them, and then I got a little bit more playing time, Then when Dusty went out, I got to fill in for his shoes, and I did as best I could to try to pick up where he left off and keep the defense rolling. And then this year, we got good secondary again. We're not real deep anymore because of a couple injuries, but we'll be back and we'll be better than ever.
What separates you on and off the field from, there's over 30 juniors and seniors on this squad. What separates you from the rest of the guys that made you a captain?
From what I've been told by a bunch of guys on the team is they just kind of see how I work, and I'm not real vocal sometimes. I don't really have to be. I kind of believe in, you can lead by example until, things get real dire, and then you have to start speaking up. But I like to get in the weight room, work my butt off, like show everybody, even if you're not having the best day, you can always do something to get it better, even if it's just the little things like in the weight room. You can just work hard, get a good spot going. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Like even today, I kind of broke my hand, had a little bit of surgery, but I got to go in there. They let me go in and do some lower body exercises. So just to get in there with the guys and show them that you can always be doing something to get yourself better, and that'll help the team in the long run. And I've been told that kind of is what made people make me a captain for this year. So I'd say it's the hard work ethic and just kind of being myself.
Let's go back to your freshman year. We talked about, you're the new, everything's new to you. You're part of a class of almost 50 newcomers, trying to make some friends, trying to make some connections, trying to get yourself out there to the coaches. And about 3 days into camp, you had a little incident. Can you just kind of talk us through what happened there and on your first 2 days of camp?
Yeah, I got up a little early because I wanted to kind of know what Bemidji's all about, and I was staying in the dorm rooms, and I got bit by a spider. I didn't really think anything of it. So like football's going, you don't really have a lot of time to really think about much else. Your whole head's spinning, whole different schedule. You got to be in this place at that time, and no free time. You're just head spinning as a freshman. And then I got this bite on my leg I didn't think anything of for a couple days, and about the third day into practice, my knee got real stiff, and like it was real swollen and red, and big red line running up it. And I remember the coaches saying that if you have an injury, there's no such thing as a stupid injury. Just at the worst, just tell the trainers about it, and they'll let you know what you need to do to get it better. So I was out at practice, and I was just struggling to keep moving my leg a little bit. So I went up and saw the trainer, and luckily for me, she had seen something like that before in one of the volleyball players, and she told me I had to go to the ER. And I was like, oh, well, all right, I'll go after practice. And she put the old kibosh on that and said I had to leave practice, which just about killed me because I didn't want to be that guy leaving practice early. And she drew me a map to the hospital, so I had to drive myself. Drove myself in. Had to call Mom on the way over to let her know because, you know, if Mom's not happy, no one's happy. So I called her up. She wanted to come up. I told her it's not a big deal. I'll be fine. It's just stupid to drive 4 hours to come up for nothing. But apparently I had blood poisoning, and the line was all the way up my leg, past my hip, onto my belly. And they told me later if that line would reach my heart, I could have died. So if I would have waited a couple more days before I said anything, I could be no longer with us. And that kind of freaked me out because I was also still alone at the hospital. But they gave me 2 shots and a whole bunch of pills. Told me if I had a fever later on, I'd have to come back in. So I got back to practice. They didn't really tell me too much about what I was supposed to do or not do. And coach wasn't too happy with some of our effort that day, so during conditioning, he was really on everybody to, you know, get busting after it and do stuff. And I was sitting in the corner there, and he came over to all the injured guys and said, hey, you guys can be doing something, whether it's push-ups or sit-ups or something. So I started cranking up sit-ups like it was my job. But the trainer saw me and started running over there and said I'm not supposed to elevate my heart rate. So she yelled at me. I was just getting yelled at all over the place. Didn't really know what was going on. Just trying to make everybody happy, which didn't really work. And then later that night, I got a fever. So I remember they said I have to go in, so I had to drive myself to the ER again. Got 2 more shots on that same day, and got to go back. I was living on the 4th floor, and the elevator was done, so I had to walk up the stairs. And the thing about the shots is they both in the rump, and that is not a pleasant experience. A lot worse than getting a shot in the arm. So I was hobbling my way up the stairs. So everything got a little better, and came home game week. I was back to practice and everything, and then I saw another bite on my leg. Same leg, but I was living in a different room. Went into the trainer, I'm like, I think I got bit again. She assured me that I wasn't. So I went to practice, did all the stuff. Saturday morning, rolled around right before the game. I woke up, and there's a red line running up my leg again. So I went into the trainer, I'm like, hey, look, I got a red line. She goes, well, you know what to do. I was like, okay, well, I'll go after the game. She's like, no, you got to go now. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I just rushed over. They gave me 2 more shots, put me on antibiotics again. And so I parked my car and sprinted right down to the field because I didn't want to be that guy who showed up late to the game. You know, still my freshman year, still trying to make friends, and just didn't want to be that oddball out. And kind of helped the coaches realize who I was a little bit, because then everybody kind of coined the nickname Spider-Man for me. And out of a class of 50 guys, the coaches have to, you know, learn all the names. They just could look at me and be like, oh yeah, that's the kid who's got all that problems with the spider bites. So from then on, Spider.
So you've been called Spider, Spidey, and kind of stuck. What has that experience meant to you? I mean, obviously, not everybody can say that. You know, you never really know how close you are to death in any sort of situation. But you could literally see and measure how close you were and how you could have been. What does that do to you as a person, as a student athlete?
Kind of just makes me realize that, God has a plan for everybody. For me, it was, wait a little bit, and as soon as things got too bad, there's just something that told me I had to go. And luckily we got it in time, and I'm able to live and keep doing what I love to do, and that's to play football here. And, go out there and do everything I can for my teammates too. That's another thing that just kind of pushes me to do everything I can for those people, because you just never know when you're not going to get that opportunity again.
How about when the first Spider-Man came out, I guess, or maybe in that series? Does anybody make any extra jokes about that, or do you make any references to Peter Parker yourself at all?
I've gotten all the posters and mouse pads, everything under the sun for Christmas gifts, birthday gifts. Yeah, I actually got a tattoo now on my chest. It's in a spider, and in the middle it says Ausdauer, which is perseverance in German, because I'm German. Just a little reminder that, whatever you do, you can always kind of persevere and hopefully get over it and be a better man.
All right, Coach Jahner, we're doing a little feature on Jake Schmidt. He's kind of had a unique path to his senior year, but he's voted as a captain, and just kind of talk about what Jake Schmidt was when he came in as a freshman and where he is today.
Well, when Jake came in as a freshman, I remember him as being a wild-eyed, smiling, just little kid and excited to be at college. And when Jake first got here and arrived, we'd have taken a look at him at that day and had to make a judgment. We'd probably say he never would have played for us. But Jake is really the epitome of commitment. That's what he's all about. He made a commitment and he stayed dedicated, and it wasn't easy for him. It didn't come easy at all. He moved positions. He fought like crazy just to get on special teams. But through it all, he earned the respect of not only the coaches, but his teammates. And to be elected as a captain his senior year, that really says what kind of person he is. It's all about his character. That's what he was voted captain as. He is a leader. The players respect him, and it's not because he's a 3-year all-conference player. It's because nobody works harder than he does, and nobody's made a bigger commitment and stuck with it than he has.
You kind of talk about when he first came on, you probably wouldn't think he'd succeed. Then the spider bite incidents happened and maybe put him a little bit even more behind the 8 ball. If you can remember, what were your thoughts when all that stuff was going down?
Well, to get a spider bite is one thing, and to be going to the emergency room and then coming back and then have to go back to the emergency room. But then when it happened the second time, you just thought that's a little too surreal. It's like, this really didn't just happen, did it? And it's just indicative of his climb at BSU. It seems like he gets knocked down, he gets back up, he gets knocked down, and he just keeps going. And he's always the guy that's got the smile on his face and keeps plugging away. And he's also the kind of guy that when he looks back at his time here at Bemidji State is going to feel a great sense of pride in all that he's overcome.
All right, Brody, this next week we're going to be talking about Jake Schmidt and the game program. You guys kind of came on campus together and have kind of grown both as players and off the field as well. Just kind of talk about what kind of person Jake Schmidt is.
Well, Jake Schmidt, he's a great person. We came in together. He came in at corner. I came in at safety. So once he switched to safety, that we started to become really good friends. Started learning the defense together. Started going to meetings together and just learning the playbook. And it's easy to communicate with Jake because he's always on. He's always talking. He's always making sure I'm in the right spot. So, and he's great.
What separates him from everybody else as being voted as a captain?
Just leadership. He's not afraid to stand out and say what's up. And his communication skills are great. And he just knows the playbook as well. He's one of the smartest guys we got out there.
A lot of people talk about his work ethic, and obviously he's had to persevere over some major things in his path to this year with the spider bite incidents and other sort of injuries and overcoming some obstacles. Kind of talk about what it's taken for him to get to where he is now.
Just perseverance. No matter what Jake has done, he's done it 100%, and that's all the football program can ask out of him, and it's gotten to where he is today. And now he's got to overcome a broken arm and a broken finger, and that won't slow him down a bit.